Elementary music teacher friend, you love what you do, but you might feel unappreciated and, in fact, unseen some days. You may even feel like you're on a music teacher island and just want to connect with other music teachers who can relate to both your struggles and wins when it comes to teaching elementary music. I get you and understand completely the feelings you're having. That's why each and every week, the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast will provide you with solo and guest episodes that will help you realize you're not alone in your music teaching journey. Throughout each episode, my goal is for you to be able to walk away with actionable steps and ideas to help you feel like you're ready to take on the new week with whatever challenges may be thrown your way. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Peresta, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're at home, in your car, in the shower, or wherever else you're listening, grab your cup of coffee or whatever other beverage is nearby and listen in to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. I am super excited to be joined today by Taylor Middleton, who is one of my amazing Harmony members. And if you're not aware of what the Harmony membership is, she is going to talk about her experience in Harmony today. And we're just going to chat about what it's like being in the membership site, her decision to join, and all those good things. And so I, first of all, would love for Taylor to introduce herself a little bit, tell you about her experience teaching elementary music, even during the pandemic, how it shifted a little bit, and then we will get started with chatting today. So Taylor, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So I've been teaching for 5 years now. It's hard to believe that. I stopped counting, but 5 years now. This is obviously a very different year to have been doing this in the pandemic, but I've spent my time all over the place. I've been elementary, I've done K-12, I've done middle and high school, so I've kind of been all over the place, but I've really discovered that my niche is elementary. My niche is with the littles, my heart is with the littles, so it's really exciting to be doing that now, just that, and not be stretched like I have before. This pandemic has been incredibly challenging. I'm so thankful that we've had the technology we have to have gotten through it. And things are looking better. So hopefully next year will be a lot closer to normal and we can start turning back around and do some of the stuff that I had to take away because of the pandemic restrictions and the way that my district decided to do things. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, gosh, it is. Looking into this coming school year, I've even thought, like, I don't know what it's going to be like. You know, we've had conversations with other teachers, like, maybe masks will still be in place or maybe not, or it's probably going to be different all over the country, to be honest, or every school district for that matter. And so not just the mask thing, but like you said, like, will music teaching get back to a little bit of how it used to be or not? Who knows, you know? And it's so, I think that is a little frustrating and probably just, I don't know what word to use, but just, well, while you're planning for next school year, you know, during the summer, it's kind of like, well, what do I plan for? But I think kind of the good thing, if you can look at the cup half full in any way, is you've kind of already done it all. So it's like, well, with any planning, you know, I can plan for a regular school year or the hot mess school year I just had. So, you know,
for sure.
Yeah. So Taylor, what did your teaching situation look like this school year? I know you did a little bit of all the things, right?
Yes. So we started out remote. Completely 100% remote, and we were actually remote until March. So I was teaching 100% online, virtual, and so that was very unique because I have multiple approaches in my classroom. Our district has Quaver as our officially sponsored curriculum, and I'm also Fire Robin trained in First Steps conversational solfege. I have a little bit of Kodai in my background too, and a little bit of Dalcroze. I've kind of dipped my feet everywhere. So it was really interesting for me to sit here and try and figure out how all those different bits and pieces can fit into, let's get on a Google Meet for 30 minutes and do music class. But I made it work. Our kids are troopers and they were very good about getting online, and their parents were very good about not complaining too much when I asked them to sing from home. This year I've said hit your mute button a lot. But, you know, it's actually not a bad thing that they want to unmute and they want to sing for me and do all that. And we transitioned back to in-person here in March, but we're doing a hybrid thing. So some of the kids opted to stay remote. And so I've got a set of kids here in my classroom and a set of kids online, and I'm teaching them both at the same time.
It's crazy.
And that is the craziest thing,
Yeah,
trying
crazy.
to, it just blows my mind, but I'm doing it. We're figuring it out. Each class is a little bit of a different dynamic because of that. Like I have some classes that are fairly balanced, and then I have one fun fourth grade class that's got 7 boys in person and everybody else is online.
Oh my goodness.
And
that's crazy.
that one's really fun. So it's a challenge, but I feel like we're doing it. We're making it work. These kids are making music and we're figuring it out.
Yeah, gosh, like that's just crazy. I got the opportunity to guest teach for one of your classes, and just seeing that, just the breakdown of how it's going. Like you do have like multiple kids, and seeing some of the students showing up in pajamas, and then you got the other ones in the classroom in masks, and it's just like, golly. And it's crazy.
They loved you, by the way. They keep asking. They keep asking for you to come back. They loved you. Aww, they were like, "Can she come back? When are we going to see Miss Foresta again?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, that's so sweet. Yeah. So one thing I did for Harmony members before we get into your story with Harmony was this year I offered. Gosh, I was just trying to help you guys any way I could, because to be honest, when I started the membership site 2 years ago, the pandemic wasn't around. So it was just like, I'm going to help teachers in their classroom with curriculum and teaching and community. And then bam, like it was like 9 months later, the pandemic hit, and I was like, okay, how do we do this? What do I do? How do I navigate? I don't want to give up. I don't want to, but like, I didn't have all the answers. So I think we kind of, in a way, kind of figured it out together, but I just kept trying different things because I was like, I felt the discouragement. Of course the overwhelm was real. And so one thing I offered was, hey, let me come in for one of your class periods and teach one of your classes just to give you a break, or just, whatever. And so it was so fun to be able to do that for a few of you. And I loved it. It was so exciting. So yeah, anyways, I want to talk about, you said you've been teaching 5 years. And so before you found Harmony, we'll get into that in a minute, what had you tried different trainings? You said you've, dip your toe in a bunch of different trainings and things. And so what did you try before, you found Harmony? We'll get into that story in a minute.
So I've tried anything I could get my hands on because there are so many different approaches to teaching music education. So I've done lots of different workshops in different types of approaches. I attend my state conference every year and pick up little ideas from that. I've worked with Ann Molesky as a part of the sequencing solution. I also listen to a ton of different podcasts. Love yours, Music Teacher Coffee Shop, Coffee Talk, not Shop Talk. So I just kind of do a little bit of everything. I always want to grow, and I'm always willing to take in ideas from other teachers, other places, other resources. I feel like I'm in 50,000 different music ed groups on Facebook.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So that's what I've been doing, is just kind of trying to find anything and everything that I can get my hands on, and kind of figure out, okay, how can I adapt this in my classroom? Because if it works for others, there's a chance I can make it work. And I love that. I love finding unique new ways to approach something with my kids that might connect with them more than what I've been doing, because it's all about growth. We're supposed to be lifelong learners, and we're supposed to model that for our students. That's what we want them to be as well. So I need to seek out as many different resources and tools as I can. If I use them, great. If I don't, at least I know that that's there, and maybe down the road I'll find a use for it. But I just want to find all the tools, all the things, and try and and go from there, knowing I have a good base of stuff that I can set myself up with that has been tried by other experts in this field.
I love that. And everybody you just shouted out, yes, Ann Molesky is amazing. Check out her, annakruzik.com. Check out her. She has a program called The Sequencing Solution. And then all the Music Ed podcasts. Oh my gosh, yes. I listen to them all as well, and I'm blown away. And what I love is there's so many differing opinions, but differing experiences brought to the table. And so it's so fun, because I'm the same way. I'm a lifelong learner, and you learn by, a lot of different things. But in the process of that, one thing you said that I actually love, and because we talk about this in Harmony, you may or may not have realized that, but is the fact that you can have so much stuff, but then it's what happens is, and you said something that I love, Taylor, because a lot of what's overwhelming is having all this stuff and then going,
Yeah.
well, how do I use it all? Well, you don't have to use it all. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to. You can if you want, and there are ways to do that, but it will cause so much overwhelm. And so I love that you said that, like, yeah, I have the things, but you don't have to use it all. So I love
Yeah,
that you
no.
said that. Yeah. Okay, so you have been a Harmony member at the time of this recording for how long?
I think at least a year for sure. I don't remember the exact date I joined, but I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you joined last summer. So I think it's been a year as well. And so when you kind of saw, did you go through the free challenge I did last summer?
Yes.
Okay. And so is that kind of how you got into my like world a little bit and found
Yeah.
out about Harmony by going through the
Mhm.
challenge with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you heard about Harmony and you had already tried all this other stuff, which all the other stuff is good, do it. Do all the levels trainings, do the workshops. I'm not saying not to do those things. I encourage that. But when you had tried some stuff and when you heard about Harmony, what was it that was like, gosh, I'm not quite sure about this, but I kind of want to get in there and see. What was that for you?
The biggest thing for me was the sense of community. You've always been very good at approaching everything as like, all right, we're a team, we're a community together. And I love that because I feel like we can all learn from each other. I'm at a school where there are two music teachers. We're big enough that this building warrants two music teachers. So I'm big on collaboration. I have to be. There's two of us here in this building. And so I love seeking out those opportunities for community and getting to share and getting to say, hey, I tried this, it worked great. So this might help you. And hey, I need some help with this. Does anybody have any ideas? Okay, great. I got 50,000 people giving me ideas now. So that's what really drew me in was that like, all right, here's a community of people that are working together and sharing and all trying to help each other with this thing that is music education. Even pre-pandemic, music education is this big, massive thing. And sometimes it can be overwhelming because there are so many different approaches and so many different things. And
Yeah.
so it's this way to just kind of be supportive of each other in that and have other people, because I feel like as music teachers we're often islands. Most of the time there's only one of you in the building, and most districts don't give us a lot of time to talk to each other. So you can feel very islandy and very by yourself. And so I love seeking out those community opportunities and knowing, hey, there's other music teachers around me. And even if I can't officially talk to them on district time, I can find them on Facebook. I can find them in Harmony. I can find them in other places that will allow me to still get that community that I feel like we miss out on being specialists in general, not just music teachers, the other specialists too.
Yeah.
But I feel like we miss out on that compared to some of the classroom teachers and other groups.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because it's like go plan with your team and you're like, you get the art and PE teacher and computer and librarian and all the things. You get their job title because it's like you in a way where you see all the students and everything, but it's also not the same. So it's like,
Yeah.
I can't really plan with you. We don't teach the same content. So
No.
yeah, I love that. Having that community aspect is huge. And that is literally my driving force behind Harmony and keeping it going. So when you made that decision to join, did you have any hesitations before you hit hit your finger, hit the trigger and just like, did it?
A little bit financially because I'm a broke music teacher, let's be real. But we were able to I was able to work it out. I was able to financially figure it out. But that was my only hesitation was like, okay, can I afford this? Let me move some things around. Let me talk to Jessica. And you were really great in helping with that and working things out. But that was my only hesitation because I love these opportunities as long as I can feasibly do them. So
Yeah.
other than that, I didn't really have any hesitation. I was like, all right, this is another awesome group. I think I can pull some great stuff from. Let me figure out how to do this.
I totally get it. And it's been working with teachers and being a former teacher myself, I get it. It's like, gosh, I only have so much money to spend. So I kind of want to be a little bit like, you're a little hesitant sometimes to pay for something because you maybe don't know if it's going to work. And you maybe don't know if like, is this investment going to pay off? But the cool thing I love about having a membership site is if it's not working and it's not the right fit, you can just leave. And I don't mean that in a harsh way at all. In fact, I have had several members who have left for various reasons and then have rejoined. And so it's never like stuck in stone. And if you decide to join and then, like maybe 3-4 months down the road, you're like, all right, this isn't the right fit, or I need to take a break for whatever reason, I promise you, I will not email you hate mail and be like, you're in it for life. You're stuck with me. No. And so that is what I love about a membership site is it's like, all right, there's no like awkward, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here anymore. I've gotten what I needed out of it. Then that's awesome. And I want you to get what you need out of it, And so we have members who have been in there since day one. And we've had members who have gotten what they needed and left. And a lot of them do come back. And so I love that. Thank you for talking about your hesitations and everything. So when you joined Harmony, or since you've been a member, have you noticed a difference in teaching music to your students? Now, I realize that during a pandemic, it's been a little crazy. And so I have the lesson plans I provide, I've had to kind of go back through them and say, all right, but if you're teaching virtually, you could try this. But if you're on a cart, you could try this. Now, if it works for your students or not, we talk about that a lot, is your kiddos better than anyone. So with that said, it's not, there's so much in there. There's like, we do trainings, monthly group calls, all the things. But have you noticed a difference in your teaching since being a member?
Definitely, because having all those resources you mentioned, having all those things has really opened the realm of possibilities for me. I like I said, I love being a lifelong learner. So there have been so many lessons you posted in the lesson packs that I've pulled from or used completely or borrowed from, stolen from. Teachers are expert thieves. We steal from each other all the time. And I love sitting in on those membership calls when I can and just absorbing that community feeling and knowing that, hey, there's somebody going through that exact thing, or chiming in when I can if there's somebody who's got a problem that they can't seem to figure out, or a tool they don't know how to use or whatever, because I'm a very technology person, so I love chiming in, in that way. So I feel like absolutely my teaching has definitely grown and improved simply by having those resources and having the opportunity to bounce ideas off of each other and check myself in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you join the membership site, you go through a start here section. It kind of guides you through like, this a welcome video and here's what to do, all the things. And then you go to what's called a success path where you identify where you're at. And it's like a revolving circle, kind of like a circular motion of, all right, I was here, now I'm here. And then you have action steps to take. And so first of all, have you gone to the success path and identified where you're at?
I did at one point when I first joined. I did. I can't remember anymore. It's been a while since I've looked at it because with the pandemic, I was like, okay, but I did. Yes.
Yeah. And so the whole point of that is you get to identify. And like I said, during COVID, there's been teachers that probably have not come back to identify where they're on the success path because they're like, I don't need to because I am at step 1 overwhelmed. And so it just is what it is. But it's there for you to say, hey, each section has a different training and a different PDF to go with how to help you move forward. It tells you like exactly what the action steps, like, hey, attend 1 member call, or this month try to attend a member call plus a Facebook Live. This month so you're not feeling overwhelmed. And that's the whole point, is it's designed to help you from going from overwhelmed to feeling confident in your teaching. So with that said, with COVID, this is kind of a funny question to ask, but do you feel a little less overwhelmed since being a member? I know with COVID, it kind of makes things feel like, well, I'm not sure, but do you feel like those days or weeks you're feeling more overwhelmed than normal, like you have a safe place to come to kind of take a breather and be like, all right, I needed to hear what she said in that particular training or whatever it might be, or that member share or whatever it is?
Absolutely. It's so nice to be able to have those moments and to be able to have those resources, because you were great at providing resources and then adapting the resources and then adapting the adaption of the resources, and even though I couldn't attend every call live or whatever, the replays were great. I'd spend Saturday morning, checking on a couple of the replays or whatever. So yeah, absolutely. It's been great. And I definitely do feel less overwhelmed than when I started, simply by having all these ideas and this community to reach out to kind of figure out, okay, this is killing me, but I know it's not killing me alone, it's killing everybody.
Right.
So let's figure out how we can get through this together,
Mm-hmm.
and we can look at the other side of it and laugh about it later.
Yeah.
So that it's been really great to have that. Yes.
I love that you said you just sit on a Saturday sometimes and watch or listen to the replays, because I also provide the audio, because since I'm a podcaster, I want to provide different means of learning, because I know for me, I love to just like walk around and clean my house, cook or whatever, and listen to audio trainings as well. And so I provide the audio as well if you don't want to sit and just watch a video for, however long it is. So I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, because everybody's not going to be able to make it live to everything. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. There's
Yeah.
things on my calendar. I'm like, ooh, I really would love to attend that training or whatever, because I'm in a membership site too. And I can't make everything. It's just not
Yeah.
possible. And so knowing those replays are there though, makes you feel like less pressure, where yeah, showing up live and having the conversations is great, but if you can't, I will always provide every replay to everything. So,
Yeah.
including every workshop, every challenge that's ever been done, those are there as well for you to revisit as many times as you want as well. So, I want to ask you this. A teacher listening to this that's like, yeah, that's all great and everything, but I'm too busy to join a membership site, or it's just one more thing to do. Do you have any advice for them about those comments that maybe they're thinking in their head?
Well, I've always said you can never have too many resources at your disposal, because you can pick and choose. Just because you have all the resources doesn't mean that you need to use them all. So, if that's what you're thinking is, oh, this is just another thing, it doesn't have to be. Like that thought ran through my head, but then I'm like, she provides the replays, so I don't feel like I have to go to every single thing live. And I look through the lesson plans, but I don't use all of the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
you've provided,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking that way, know that this is such a flexible tool. It is there, it is a resource, but if you've got other things going on, then you've got other things going on. It's not one of those where, all right, you didn't show up to this live, or you didn't use this lesson plan plaque, or you didn't open this file, or it's so flexible in that way, and I love that,
Yeah.
because there are times when I do need that support and I do need those lesson plans, and I'm like, I have no clue what to do, so here we go, now I know what to do. But then there are times where I'm like, I got this, I'll
Yeah.
check that out later, or we'll look at that and maybe I'll try that next year. I love that flexibility.
Yeah. One of our members, Justin, was on another podcast episode, I believe last year, and he said exactly what you said. He said it's like a toolkit where the tools are there when you need them, but you need the same thing every month. There's going to be different ways you're feeling, different things you're needing, and maybe lesson plans, resources, whatever, or maybe you're just needing community that month. So I love that you said that. Yeah, it's the stuff is there for what you need. I That's the truth, because I have asked so many members individually, like, what are you in here? What is the main thing you're in here for? And you hear totally different answers from everyone. But I love that. And that's why I like to provide different means of learning, because everybody's going to need different stuff. But then the next month they may need something else. And so, yeah, it's there for you if you need it. So with Harmony, I do have an enrollment period, and I've been asked this question a lot by teachers, but like, why do you close the doors? What's the point? Why don't you just leave it open all the time? Well, because I think of it kind of like a college class, where I like everybody to kind of start together, and then, well, there's not really an ending point in a membership site, but I like everybody to start together. Like, hey, we're all in here, like returning members and new members. We have a lot, like a very first like member welcome to Harmony call. And then from there, we're kind of off to the races together, because this coming school year, we have, instead of the member call like we've had every month, that will still be available, but I'm doing something different called the Accountability Week, where you've been talking about accountability, but there are going to be where you can have a mentorship partner, a small group, come to a member call, or have a text option. So all that's coming. And so I'm constantly thinking of new ways to, um, you know, provide support any way I can. And every year I'm thinking of new ideas and new ideas. So with that said, someone who's like, this sounds great, but I'll just wait to join until the next time the doors are open, until the winter, or I'll just join next summer. What would they be missing out on by not joining this summer?
I feel like they'd be missing out on that community, that ability to work with the others, to, join with, whoever else is joining this summer. There's a huge sense of community in that, and branching in, folding in the people who've been a member with you too, and who kind of
Mhm.
know what you provide and what you've been doing. I feel like that you're going to miss out on that gateway. You're going to miss out on those opportunities, those resources. And yeah, you might find them again when you open the gates again, and if you
Mhm.
dig back through, if you want to, go through the history in the archives. But you're going to miss out on that opportunity to grow and to develop. And who knows, maybe out of this there'll be lots of fantastic things you can take into the fall that you wouldn't have thought of before,
Yeah.
or that you couldn't have come to yourself, as far as what things are going to look like. Or maybe somebody who's joining right now, or somebody who's already in Harmony, has the exact same teaching situation as you, as far as scheduling and whatever, and so they can give you advice on what they're doing, and you can kind of share and meld and figure out, how to improve it. That sense of community is so vital to
Mhm.
specialists, and we miss out on it so much because we're specialists and we're so individualized. And so I feel like that piece is so important and so hard to find, that you've got to grasp it when you can,
Mhm.
because it it doesn't, otherwise it just goes away, and then you're back, your little
Yeah.
island, and it's not easy.
Yeah. So I thought of one more thing. You said you're also in another course, you've taken other trainings. And so, what if someone's listening and they're just like, well, I've already bought this other course, or I'm also in another membership site, or whatever? What would you say to that when they're like, oh, I already have these things, so I don't need this thing?
Those things aren't this thing. That's what I'd say to them. Like,
That's good. That's good.
like, yeah, it's another tool in
Hmm.
in your tool belt, in your toolbox. What you do with your Harmony membership is different than what Anne does with the sequencing solution,
Right.
is different than what some of the podcasts that we have talk about,
Hmm.
is different than going to an old ORF workshop, or a Kodai workshop, or a
Yeah.
Dalcroze workshop, or it's different. So while you can say, oh yeah, I'm already doing this one thing, that one thing isn't everything. So
Yeah.
diversify.
Yeah.
There are lots of different opportunities. Take advantage of as many of them as you can,
Yes.
because they're all going to bring something different to the table,
Hmm.
as far as the instructor who's doing it,
Yeah.
the background and history, like all of that plays into things differently, and can provide you different tools, or a different point of view, a different perspective, a different set of tools that you wouldn't have had access to before,
Yeah.
based on the experiences of the people who designed it.
That's so
So
good.
I feel like that's what I would say is, this isn't that.
Yeah.
So don't, it doesn't need to be either or.
Yes.
It doesn't need to in this case. This is not one of those where you have to pick A or B. You can have both. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I know there's several members in here right now who are in another membership site for music teachers. And I think great, because I know that particular membership site does other things, or I know a course does different things. And it's like so cool because these people came out in the world with their experience to offer these things to music teachers. But I love that you said that you can do more than one thing. Right now I'm in grad school, I'm in a course, I'm in a membership site. Actually, I'm in another course. I took an online training the other day that I paid for to take. I along with grad school, took another class on top of grad school at the university I'm at that has nothing to do with my degree. Like, good grief. Because why? Because I knew, like, I needed this, I needed this, I needed this, and I'm a crazy person and I like to constantly be learning, and I'm in too much stuff. So it is what it is. So I totally get that. Like,
Same, same,
yeah.
same, same.
But like you said,
100% same.
you're going to learn because everybody has different experiences and things they offer. And that's great to, like you said, the
Yeah.
toolkit. Okay. So, what is something that surprised you after joining Harmony, where maybe you heard me talk about it, but it wasn't until you kind of got in there and started digging through where you're like, oh, this really surprised me?
For me, it was the lesson plan packs, because I feel pretty solid in my lesson planning now. I've been doing this for a few years, so I feel like I got it. But looking through, and you talked about the lesson plan packs, and I'm like, I don't know how much I'm going to use
Mm-hmm.
those compared to some of these other things. But when I started looking at them, like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Or I do that, but I do that slightly differently, but I think this way could be better. Or, hey, that's similar to what I do, but I like that modification, or I could make this modification. So I feel like that
Right.
was one of the biggest things that surprised me, was like looking looking through those and seeing all of the different opportunities that were there to either expand or adapt what I'm already doing, or add something new to my toolbox that I think my kids would really resonate with and would really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the big deal for me.
Yeah, because like you said, what your kids would enjoy, because
Yeah.
you as the teacher, it's not a one size fits all approach, and I
No.
totally realize that. You can take the lesson plans and teach them as is, but I know the majority of the teachers inside of Harmony are going to want to adapt and, modify the lesson plans to fit what your students need, and you can edit them as your own.
Yeah.
And I get asked this question a lot, and I didn't even tell you I was going to ask you this, but I get asked this question a lot, and people are like, well, what are your lesson plans? Are they more Orff, Kodály, Dalcroze? What are they? And I say, here's the thing. Like you said at the beginning, I have such an eclectic approach to teaching music.
Yep.
I love using a million different styles. So,
Yeah.
what would you say to that? When you look through, are you kind of able to identify, like, oh, I can see where she got that, like she kind of using a lot of Orff there, whatever it might be. Can you see that, or can you identify it as one approach? Because I get asked that all the time when people are wanting to join.
No, you definitely use a mix of things. You definitely have got your mix, just like I have my mix. People who
Mm-hmm.
would walk into my classroom would see that I use a little bit of Feyerabend, I use a little bit of Kodály, I use a little bit of Orff and Dalcroze, and I use a little bit of music learning theory, and I use a little bit of, hey, this is what I made up 5 minutes ago because I think it'll work. So this is a Miss Middleton original.
Yes, totally. Brand yourself, girl.
you know and a little bit of stuff my cooperating teacher taught me when I was student
Mhm.
teaching. So I feel like we should be. As much as I love all of these approaches, I
Yes.
feel like some of the teachers are very firmly, no, this is the only approach, this is what I use, this is it, I'm in. And I'm like, no, there's so much more out there. Like, yes, Kodály is fantastic, but there's great stuff about Dalcroze, there's great stuff
Mhm.
about Orff, there's great stuff about, I feel like sometimes some of the music teachers get too locked in their one philosophy, and I'm like, there is so much more out there to music, and we need to diversify that,
Mhm.
especially when we're teaching such young age, such a young mind. We need to be open to all of it in order to find what's going to stick with our kids.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal to me, is being able to use multiple different approaches and multiple different styles to try and hook these kids and make and
Mhm.
foster that love of music. That's what this job is about to me, is fostering a love of music in my kids, because I know that not all of them are going to go into band, choir, or orchestra. I would love for every single one of them to go to band, choir, or orchestra, but I know that realistically that's not going to happen.
Right.
So for me, my goal is I want kids to love music, because just as much as we need those band, choir, and orchestra kids, we need people who are going to go pay to see them when we're no longer in a pandemic and you can go pay to see them again.
Ah,
Um,
yes. Ah.
so so I that's my opinion on that. I'll
Mhm.
quiet my rant and get off my soapbox. But
No, I agree. I love pulling from a lot of different styles, and so it's so good. Yeah, and everybody's different, and that's okay. But yeah, the lesson plan packs I do. I just pull from a lot of different styles and things, like you said, I've learned over the years, and things like I put Jessica's spin on stuff. And so my spin may not work for you, but the cool thing is you can edit it as your own, like you said. So Taylor, we've talked about so much, and I want to know,
yes.
is there anything else you want to say about being a Harmony member that we haven't discussed today?
No, I don't think so. I love the community. I love hopping in the Facebook page and seeing all the shout outs to each other, and all the people, hey, I've got this, but it's not working. What would you suggest? And all the people
Mhm.
commenting, 50 million ideas within 10 minutes. I love that, and I can't emphasize that enough. Just the sense of community, and the resources you have at your back from all of the people that are in the community and all their different experiences that they bring to the table, that if you're missing something, if there's something you need, I can almost guarantee you're going to find it in this group. Somebody somewhere knows something, or has been through that before, and is going to be able to help you or give you ideas, or even just moral support. I think
Yeah.
Katie has posted a few things in there just for moral support, like, what's your favorite whatever, just to kind of like boost morale, and to have that sense of, just, all right, we're just going to have fun here for a minute, because I feel like with this pandemic, we've kind of been so hyper focused on, okay, how do I get through this.
Yes.
That, sometimes we just need that minute to be like, all right, what's your favorite food or whatever, and let's talk about what would you have in your drawer at work, coffee or
Yeah.
candy, I think was one of the questions she asked one time, and
Yes.
just have that moment of levity, that moment of like, okay, not everything is about my job right now. Take a breath.
Yeah, the other day she said, "Do you take a nap after school?" And so it was funny seeing the responses in there. No, Katie. So Taylor's talking about Katie Holbrook is my community manager for Harmony. And she's been, gosh, I think the last 6 months has been taken on that role, and she's done a great job. But we had a discussion. Katie and I meet regularly, and we talked about all school year, like how to support you guys the best we can. And that was the main thing. As I said, they don't need more stuff right now. They yes, continue the member calls. All those things is a way to support you, but they just need more. Like we were talking about how in the community itself, there was less, the engagement started going down a little bit. And it was like, I said, listen, I'm not offended. I get it. I'm not even in Facebook groups as much, anymore because of the overwhelm, because there's so much you guys are going through, and that it's just like getting through this school year. And I said, so right now, let's just post some like fun threads, like get them just talking about like things not related to their job. And then it really, like you said, just the simplest thing sometimes is what helps the most. And so I love that you said that. Yes, for sure. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've really appreciated
you for having me.
Yeah, I've appreciated your words and all your advice. And we love having you as a member. You are valued, and we really love each and every one of you more than you could ever know. So thank you for coming on today, Taylor, and giving up your time to come and speak to me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Anytime. Anytime.
It's truly hard to put into words what the experience for you will be like in this membership site unless you join us, because it is truly like nothing I have ever been a part of. And yes, I'm the creator of it, but I'm telling you, the expectations I had of this membership site and what it's turned out to be have completely blown me away. These teachers show up for each other. They are there for each other. They feel like a family. In fact, we call each other the Harmony fam. I love the conversations we have in the Zoom calls, and the way they come and help each other out in the Facebook group, and the lesson plans I see them implementing, and the way I hear them saying they've gone from feeling overwhelmed and stressed out to feeling a little bit more confident. And it's not as overwhelming. You're trying to plan lesson plans every day. Not only that, when COVID-19 hit, they still showed up for each other. We still collaborated. We showed up and had conversations. And that's what's great about a membership site, is you always have a home base and a place to go, even if things go crazy like they did last school year. As a member, you get so many more benefits that I can't even explain on this little podcast ad right here. So what I want you to do is head to harmonymembership.teachable.com and click on the button that says Harmony Hub. And there you will be able to scroll all the way down and read all about Harmony. You'll be able to see what other music teachers have said, and you'll be able to see all the benefits that you get by being a member. If you have any questions along the way, please just email me at jessica@thedomesticmusician.com, or right there on that page I just sent you to. I will be online answering any questions. So don't wait, and join Harmony so you can find clarity as a music teacher and feel like you are able to breathe again and really enjoy your teaching. And I hope to see you inside.